a lot of talk about real estate, and it's sort of unclear what's happening because there was like a report that the second quarter of the year, I think, was what usually happens during spring happened during summer, which everyone absolutely started buying property in Greater Toronto area, Hamilton, and even here in downtown area, and a lot of houses were being bought for some reason, and it's being explained by the fact that it's just a lot of people try to sell them, and a lot of people try to take advantage of that, and that usually happens during spring. But because of coronavirus and that hiatus, and just in general the mood, everyone wanted to do something quickly. They thought that the market is tanking, and that's their opportunity. That's the real estate in terms of housing. The actual, there's a term for that, but the house, not the condo. At the same time, the condo prices are falling as well, and there's a lot of inventory on the market, which means a lot of condos right now are empty, and the landlords don't have anyone to rent it to because we don't have any immigration. We completely blocked, the whole. I don't think if it's completely or not, but it's definitely being reduced significantly. Also, immigration in terms of permanent residency, immigration in terms of. I would say also international students, who come here and try to rent something. So, and no tourists as well. So no Airbnbs as well. And that's why we have all those space open, basically available. Hence, there's no supply, so the price goes down.
Right.
I'm sorry, no demand, so the price goes down. So how do you see this, and what do you see on the ground if you are talking to some people, or have you been researching that as well? What's happening?
Yeah. So, we deal with just a ton of real estate. In terms of our clients, the taxation of real estate, we help them build a real estate an investment portfolio. And what you're seeing now, it's very strange. Okay, you have to look at real estate, just normal market factors, supply and demand. That's one, right? But there are other factors as well. Right? People aren't necessarily in North America. They're not necessarily looking at real estate as what's the price of this property. They're looking at what's the monthly payment when they buy. Very few people.
Can the property cash flow, basically?
Yeah, well, can the property cash flow, but when you want to move into the property, let's say, and you want to live in the property, okay? Most people that are buying the property are saying, what's my monthly carry? What's the mortgage? What's the condo fees? Well. Okay. What's the maintenance, so on and so forth? And can I afford that? And that's a very North American concept, right? What's the monthly payment? And they're not necessarily thinking about the price, because the price has outpaced, if you chart it against real wages, the price in the GTA has significantly outpaced wages, right? But interest rates have been dropping, right? And the ease of which you can get, let's say, a 30-year mortgage, and you extend the amortization of the mortgage, that's helped out a lot, right? So getting the financing to buy a property has been one of the factors that's led to the increase in the pricing, because a lot of times people will think about it as a monthly payment, right? But now, in a situation where the monthly payment becomes an issue for the renter, I think this is what's happening, because people are losing their job, or they're afraid, and they're looking forward, and they're like, hey, I might not have this job in 6 months. Now a $2,500 rent per month for a 1-bedroom condo in Toronto is not looking as attractive, right? So now you're getting a bigger supply in the rental space, and that's why I think you're probably seeing a bit of a strange drop in condo prices.
Absolutely. I mean, we still don't know, for example, speaking on behalf of young professionals, we still don't know whether it's worth living in downtown if 90% of the time we're working remotely.
Yeah.
I can easily, for example, get a condo somewhere in Hamilton, or even, further away, Waterloo or whatever, and pay very, much less than I'm paying right now. But I will be as productive as I am, here.
And have a nicer place.
Have a nicer place. Yeah. Because right now, so it's winter in Toronto. Yeah. It's my second winter here. And last weekend, I, went out and just sat on the patio after 6. And I was like, what the hell? I'm not doing this for sure.
It's dark and it's freezing.
Yeah. It's freezing. And no matter how many heaters you'll put around me, this is I'm not doing this. I'm sorry. So I'm definitely there's no reason to be in downtown Toronto during winter if everything is closed.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's
So
not
what's the
fun,
point?
and it's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing useful about it. So yeah, like it makes sense for me, like as a young professional, to at least consider and say like, huh, does this worth like me like living at this area?
Right.
Hence the prices are falling
Yeah.
right now because I'm not the only one.
But now when I look at it as a capitalist,
Uh huh.
I'm saying perfect. When we figure this out, people want the young, the younger generation, 20 somethings, 30 somethings, single, no kids, they want to be downtown. When the bars reopen, when the nightclubs reopen, when the restaurants reopen, when everything is back to normal, it's going to be cool to live downtown again.
Right.
Now is my opportunity to scoop up a deal.
Okay.
Sit on it, maybe go cash flow negative for a year, right? And then boom, it goes up in value. The rents go up, right? So there's a lot of factors that play into, let's say, the Toronto condo market. It's a very complicated market, right? There's rent control, that's a factor, right? Sets a ceiling for the amount of rent that
Quick question about that
Yeah.
for rent control, because I know it doesn't only necessarily restricts you to increase the price, but also restricts you to decrease the price. With COVID right now, can a landlord decrease the price by more than what's allowed?
That would be a better question for a real estate lawyer.
Okay.
Because for the most part, the issue is the increase in the price.
Exactly, but
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Right. So I don't see why logically you wouldn't be able to say, hey, you know what, you can live here for free. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I'm sure there's always a way to decrease the price, I'm sure. But maybe, we could do a little bit of research on that
For
after.
sure.
But I think the big issue is increasing the price. And if it's capped at a certain percentage, whatever it is, 2%
I think
per
it's
year,
around, yeah,
right?
something like that.
That plays into the issue, because now you sign someone on as a long-term tenant, then they go, after a year they go month to month or whatever it is, but then you're capped at 2% per year. How do you get rid of that tenant?
Right.
So it's going to make these condos maybe even cheaper. And then now you're having trouble Airbnb-ing them or doing temporary rentals, right? So that takes that out of the market.
I think
Right.
are condo prices going down right now? Not just rent, but overall, if I want to buy a condo, are they costing less right now? Is this
I
happening?
believe they're down. The trend is moving down, or at least flat. Whereas the trend in other types of properties is actually up a little bit.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, why is this?
Well, then you've got to think of it as well, right? When you're marketing any service or product, why is it nice to market to the affluent? There's less elasticity in their buying, right? In their purchasing power. So okay, they're making $1 million a year, right? They dropped by 10%. They can still buy Chanel bags, right? It's because they're making 900 grand a year. So what's happening here is, I think, I can't go on vacation. I can't go to restaurants. So I'm saving all this money. So now what you're having is people that have houses, like freehold homes with a backyard. You can't find a pool guy to build a pool anymore, because they're like, okay, well, I didn't go on vacation. I didn't save myself 10 grand there. I didn't go to restaurants. I saved myself 5 grand. Throw in another 5-10 grand. I can make a pool, right? Or I can do some work to my house. Or you know what? I can upgrade because I can afford another $1,000 a month on the mortgage, right? So maybe it's that. Maybe it's people want to move out of the downtown core. And when you move out of the downtown core, you can actually buy something bigger. So a townhouse or a full house. Usually the progression is condo to townhouse, townhouse to house, right? So maybe people are making that decision a little quicker because they're like, hey, listen, I got this $800,000, $900,000 one bedroom den in Toronto. I'm going to get rid of it, go a little bit outside of the city. I throw in an extra 100 grand and I can get a 2,000 square foot townhouse, right? And I'm working from home anyways, and I can't go to restaurants. And so I think people are really thinking about the moment. I don't think people really project forward. They're really stuck in the moment, right? And I think COVID's been around long enough that this feels like reality now, right? Wearing masks indoors, not going to restaurants, not doing the fun stuff that we're used to doing. I think it's starting to feel like a legitimate reality, and it may drive people a little bit out of Toronto, at least temporarily.
And so for the people, let's say, who are also bullish on the future of Toronto and thinking that, we're gonna go back to the way how we were in terms of, going out and entertainment, and they want to invest in the town while it's still kind of on the downward sloping trend. Do you feel like we have already passed the whole, craziness, and we're not gonna go anywhere low down? There's not gonna be another crisis if things are going to be as they are right now, or are we like waiting for something like, oh, there's like people, gonna be defaulting on their mortgages at some point? Because I know that banks were kind of supporting the whole like you can postpone paying and all of that. Are we past that thing? Have they figured that out?
I honestly don't know. You would have to look at employment trends, right? The postponement of the mortgage, like if there's going to be a big cliff, a big crash, what's the government going to do, right? Are they going to allow it to crash, or are they going to continue to bail out? And if you're looking back to, let's say, the Obama era, from the 2008-2009 financial crisis, the trend has been to bail out, really, which is why I think that the governments of the world will conglomerate to bail out the people. And what the overall effects of that is going to be? Will it make hyperinflation? Will it collapse the economy? Will it create
Probably increase the
bubbles?
tax.
Right? I don't know. I don't know, but it's going to have to be a coordinated effort. And once again, I don't envy these politicians.
Right.
Like, I would not want to be in that position, because it's difficult. You can't let people starve. But on the flip side, if you give too much, are you running the risk of, hey, I'm giving these 22, 23-year-olds who just got out of school and they can't get a job because they have no experience and nobody's willing to give them a chance because of COVID, but I'm giving them $2,000 a month free money to live at home with their parents. Are you disincentivizing them to work?
That's
right?
the big question.